and just speak to Chad Thomas now at this point in time. He's a security expert, also monitoring and watching those developments at the ad hoc committee as well as the Madlanga Commission. Chad, a very good afternoon to you. Let's speak to you about your impressions today around what General Khumalo has been saying. One of the things that he has been stressing, of course, is the fact that he had to submit a closeout report about the disbandment of the PKTT. And he was very confused about that because he was firstly not consulted about it, and he didn't really know the reasons behind that. I mean, just your thoughts around that and the chain of command, the lack of interaction and consulting by Minister Mchunu.
Good afternoon, and thank you for inviting me. The General Khumalo we're seeing in the witness box at Madlanga Commission today is very different to the General Khumalo we saw prior to him taking sick leave. He has come back, he is very confident, and he is coming with facts. It seems as if nobody could understand this mixed message received on the 31st of December. They weren't sure whether it was in fact genuine or whether in fact somebody had put the minister up to this, or in fact whether or not the actual instruction was fake, let alone legal. Without the Commissioner of Police endorsing it, they decided they were going to continue. And when Sabir got involved and gave instructions, again, because the instruction didn't come from the Commissioner, they continued. He mentioned that if they'd put this report together, it would have been the mother of all reports in respect of the closing off report, because so much had occurred within this unit and so many successes had been experienced. One must understand this unit had been established in 2018, and then without cause, they get told 6 years later, at the end of 2024, that this unit must now close. We've seen a lot of bold and courageous decisions made, despite the fact that these decisions were coming from very, very senior members. So the fact that they've stood up against this and this unit has continued to function shows that there's this disconnect between the leadership from an operational perspective and also from a constitutional perspective as to who can instruct what and how it's meant to happen.
Chad, I want to speak about something that's happening on the sidelines of course, the Madlanga Commission as well as the ad hoc committee, and that is Brown Mokgotsi and that statement that we've been talking about that was released by the SAPS, saying that it has now successfully executed the search and seizure warrant that was issued for the 16th of October 2025 on Brown Mokgotsi. The team investigating the fraud, corruption, and defeating the ends of justice case, also seizing several devices from him. They met with Brown Mokgotsi at his lawyers and also want to question him, of course, about that now mysterious shooting that happened yesterday.
It's very frustrating sitting on the sidelines and watching Brown Mokgotsi, how he's operated and what we've got to learn about in the last couple of months. Right at the outset, when he became the focus of intense scrutiny as to his role as a go-between, a fixer, a facilitator involving politicians, tenderpreneurs, and senior policemen, at that point in time, his devices should have been seized. We're now hearing that the warrant was issued on the 16th and he's evaded the police up until now. And of course, we've got this added complication of the so-called hit, which a lot of people believe to have been staged. Why I say it's frustrating is we all know how easy it is to lose a device, have a device stolen, or have a device cleaned. We don't know whether the devices he's handed over are the devices he was using last year or the beginning of this year. We don't know whether it contains the information that the state is looking for in order to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that this man was in fact engineering, fixing, and facilitating a lot of activity which is now deemed to have been of a bad nature. So it concerns me that this man has been able to evade the police for so long, and it concerns me that they're only taking those devices in for forensic examination. As to the attempted hit, as he's put it, as I mentioned a few seconds ago, a lot of people believe it was staged. And this man has got a lot to answer to. He's one of the main puzzle pieces that once he's appeared in terms of the Section 3 notice issued for Madlanga as well as with the ad hoc, we're going to be able to get some clarity. Whether he'll be able to withstand the scrutiny and the examination on the stand, it's going to be very interesting. If not, and I hate to say this, somewhat entertaining.
Yeah, Chad, I want to actually take our viewers to listen to that clip by police spokesperson Atlenda Mate, just speaking around, in fact, the operations around Brown Mokgotsi. Let's listen to that clip.
The SAPS has successfully executed the search and seizure warrant that was issued for the 16th of October in Mahikeng for Mr. Brown Mogotsi. The team investigating the fraud, corruption, and defeating the ends of justice case has also seized certain devices from him. The team met at Brown Mogotsi's lawyer's offices in Johannesburg. The team investigating the attempted murder case from the Vosloorus police station have also met with Mogotsi, and no further comment will be provided at this stage as investigations into both cases continue.
Yeah, I mean, Chad, of course, that was the police just speaking around this matter. I want to then draw back to just some of the utterances that were made today in terms of General Khumalo. Of concern, of course, he is now going to speak about that briefing that they had with the portfolio committee. It would seem that this has been a long journey up to this point in terms of the allegations that were made by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, but also the fact that there were so many avenues that they had touched. Now that we have at the ad hoc committee the acting police minister, what do you think is going to come out, from these allegations in terms of change and reform at the SAPS, or perhaps what we would like to see happen?
I was exceptionally disappointed by the remarks made by the caretaker minister, Kachalia, today in Parliament. He said that, it concerned him that the police general was wearing camouflage on the 6th of July, that he didn't agree with that press conference, and that he agreed that the PKTT should be disbanded. He then went on a bit later on in his testimony to say, now's the time for a bold and courageous stand. Well, that is what the public at large believe Mkhwanazi was doing, taking a bold and courageous stand in service to his country. We must understand that he had followed multiple avenues. We know what happened last year. We know what happened at the beginning of this year. We even have been advised that apart from the parliamentary committee during a meeting in March, that the president had been approached with this. There's a lot of different pieces in play, and he definitely tried to follow protocol. He took it into the public. The public were taken into his confidence, and as a result of that, we're seeing decisive action being taken by the president with respect to the establishment of the Commission of Inquiry, and of course we've seen the ad hoc committee, as well as other issues on the sidelines, like the Mogotsis, the other criminal cases that have been opened, etc. This is the reset that we required. We've had a deficit in leadership for a very long time. We've spoken about it in whispers. In some instances, we've said there's capacity and there's resource issues within the police. That's why crime is at such a high rate. But the reality is crime is where it is in this country because there was a deficit of leadership. When you don't have leadership at the very top, how do you expect the members at the bottom to actually want to conduct themselves and be able to work without fear or favor, knowing that there's such rot taking place at the very top? So this reset is not going to...
Yeah, an important question, Chad, but I'm afraid I want to leave it there for now. We have to go back to the commission now. It is due to begin any moment, but thank you so much for your analysis this afternoon. Really do appreciate it.